Hi there, Stephen Danton. I'm the creative director of Teuton Studios working on Under the End.
Stephen, talk about what you're showing here at GDC.
So we're showing our latest game, probably our biggest game, Under the End. It's a 2D cinematic combat adventure. It's about a father and their struggle to reunite with their family.
So talk about you mentioned Punch-Out in your presentation. Talk about some of the inspirations behind this game's design.
Sure. So other than Punch-Out, Inside's a big inspiration, Limbo, really trying to capture that cinematic platformer and telling stories through the environments and the kind of engagements that the hero has. Punch-Out for the combat and kind of the purity of combat that Punch-Out has. Little Mac, like the father in our game, has his full skill set right from the get-go, and it's really about mastering that skill set against the different encounters and opponents you face throughout the journey.
So what made you decide to go two-dimensional?
For us, 2D games have a lot of advantages that maybe have been forgotten over the years. Over 3D. So one of them is actually the ability to read high and low, and a lot of our combat is about reading high versus low attacks. The other is to judge distance left and right. And the third is this thing that's kind of been forgotten, which is the ability to see behind you. As you can have these really great group encounters as you engage multiple opponents and use crowd control techniques and things like that.
So what's it like working in Unity, and what have they provided in terms of tools and support to help make this game a reality?
That's an interesting question. Unity is, I think, been a great enabler of allowing people like myself. I'm a designer, my wife's a designer, and I have programming skills that I adopted on my own. Allows people like us to get into gaming. We've had to actually augment Unity with our own tooling to allow us to draw environments at the scale we want to do lighting at the scale we want to do. And so I think what Unity's done is it's made it really easy to get on multiple platforms, and it's lowered the barrier of entry in terms of technology. So for people like myself that really think of themselves more as artists, can go and build games. I don't have to go build a game engine to actually make a video game like I might have had to 10, 15 years ago.
Can you talk about any inspirations? Kind of Game of Thrones kind of comes to mind when watching some of the gameplay.
Actually, like Tormund is kind of like, it has become an inspiration more and more for the main character. Initially we gave him red, orange hair because of the protagonist in Out of This World or Another World, and he actually stands out relative to the background, which is the same reason why those guys did it. But some of his look, like the cloak and things like that, and kind of his stature has been more inspired by Tormund in kind of the recent iterations.
What's the biggest challenge in making an indie game in 2019?
Wow, that's a good question. I think for us, for Sarah and I, it's been balancing the need to make kind of a profit and money off the game because we want to make future games with the artistic side. Really, we make indie games because we want to have a perspective that might be different than AAA studios and really have an experience that might be a little riskier. And that's always a constant struggle of, okay, we can do this thing that might actually be really polarizing to players out there. Is that really the right thing to do? Is that give the experience we want? Is that going to allow us to continue making games? So it's not worrying about money and really trying to make things for the artistic kind of reasons. But the money side always kind of creeps in there because at the end of the day you do have to pay the bills and eat and things like that. So,
how do you feel the Nintendo Switch helped the ecosystem for like independent developers?
I think for us we've really seen an explosion in kind of the adoption of indie games on Switch, and I don't exactly know why that phenomena has happened. Steam used to really be the kind of the holy grail, or the place that you wanted to be as an indie. I think that marketplace has become very saturated, and I think that has allowed the Switch to kind of rise up. For Sarah and I, it gives us another platform that allows us to get our game out to more people. Gets the game out to people that might not have a PC or are not as comfortable with playing PC games like they would be on Steam. And so any outlet we can have that allows us to sell our game helps, and it makes it more possible that we're going to be able to continue making games.
So when does your game come out and what platforms will it be on?
So we're hoping to ship at the end of this year. It might be early 2020. It's very hard to tell. We'll kind of we'll ship it when it's done kind of thing. We'll be shipping on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.